Welcome everybody to this call. What I want to do is talk about the Common Sense Debt Elimination Program and some of the common questions that I'm getting questioned on as far as understanding the program. I think what's important here is, once you log into your software, one of the first things you need to do is you need to set up your profile, which you're just putting your information in here and date of birth. And then from there you go into setup. And what I want to show you here is, of course, there's a step-by-step instructions on how to do it, but clearly you're going to go into your revolving debt. And you'll see here there's a video on every page. There's a tutorial on what to do. And it's real easy to add an expense items here just by clicking add an expense right here. You can add this in, and it's really that simple, okay? Now, with that said, let's go through the revolving debt here. What I did is I entered in a client here through my personal user account here just to give you an idea. They've got a number of student loans here, a couple of installment loans, and then they've got a couple of car loans, and that totals a little over $103,000. If you go to mortgages, they've got a couple of mortgages here totaling maybe $350,000. And then you go to select program, and when you run the basic program, I want to show you a couple of things. Number one here, you'll see that their minimum payments are $4,070. They're only paying a little bit more, about $80 more a month than what their minimum payments are. But when you click Run Program, I mean, folks, you got to see this, okay? Because here's what you got to realize. Here's a 45-year-old person who would be out of debt based on the $4,100 in about 30 years or at age 75. And with our plan, not adding any additional money, the same money they're paying right now, they'll be out of debt in 14.2 years, which means that they'll have saved 15 and a half years, and they did not increase their budget by 1 penny based on what they're paying now. No extra money here. I'm also showing you this. I'm showing you this for two reasons. Let's say you have a client, an existing client, and they already have a program with you, or they're already doing a tax-free savings plan, and they're just looking for a solution. Does this work if they add no extra money to it and no money towards retirement? Well, clearly it does. It knocks off 15 and a half years based on their same payment. Now, here's what I want to show you, though. What if you just add 20% into their retirement plan and you click New Results and you run it again? Let's watch what happens. So they did add, they're not out of debt in 15 and a half years, right? So 18 months that the longer that they're going to be in debt, okay? 18 months at $4,000 a month is $72,000, correct? But look at the spin-off savings by taking 20% of the discretionary funds, in which there's very little here to start, right? It's really going to be as they pay things off, they're putting 20%. So they saved, they paid their debts 18 months longer, which is about $72,000, but they have $212,000, and they're still out of debt by age 61. What if we raise this to 50% and we run the results again? They're still going to be out of debt by age 64. They're still saving, not spending any more money than they presently are. They're still saving 11 years, but they got $724,000 in their tax-free savings plan by saying we're going to take 50% of the discretionary income, even though there isn't any right now. If I show you the results here, and we go down, if you look, they're starting off their retirement plan with $39. Now, this is someone that already has a plan. The questions come up, have a plan with me, and they want to know if the debt program is going to work. Well, it's going to work just fine, even if they have no discretionary income, okay? Because this is based on what they're already paying. Now, so with that said, I'm going to bring this back down to, let's leave it at 50%, and I'm going to increase this by 300. Actually, I'm not going to increase it there. What I'm going to do is say if they have extra funds. What do we mean by extra funds? Well, they're working with us part-time, and let's say they're going to take $500 a month from what they're making, and we're going to put this towards the plan. This is part-time income, right? So we run the new results now, and let's watch what happens. Remember now, they were at 64 years. They're still at 64 years, meaning it's paid off, and they saved almost 11 years. They've got $733,000. If we take this out from here and say, let's just add it here. So let's say they're working with us part-time, and they add $300 a month to the plan, okay? So it's $300 more than they're presently paying. And we run the new results again. Let's look at what it looks like. Still out of debt in 11.83 years, but they've got $861,000 in their tax-free retirement plan at the end at age 64. And when we do the roll here, you're going to see just how things are getting paid off, okay? They start with a retirement plan of, call it, about $200 a month, and their debts are getting paid based on what the software is allocating them to do. Keep in mind, folks, when this software runs, this is not a sophisticated spreadsheet that just says that you can put a formula in. This is done on a month-by-month basis. As a debt is paid or a payment is made, it's reducing the amount of money, and it's recalculating what the payment should be on a monthly basis, therefore calculating what the interest would be on a monthly basis. So here's a scenario where we took almost 12 years off, showed them how to have an $861,000 tax-free retirement by taking 50% of discretionary income, and all they've done is add $300 a month to it. Okay? So again, I want to go back here and say, well, what if we leave it at that rate of $41.49, and we run the results again? So they're not spending any more money than they are right now. We have 50% going to a discretionary, or I should say a tax-free retirement plan, $724,000, even though they're starting with no additional dollars. Again, if we bring that down to zero, again for comparison purposes, and we run the results, the question comes up, if I don't make any additional payments, if all I have and all I'm making is minimum payments, will this software work for me? Well, it took them from 29 years to 14.2 years, saved them 15.5%. Now, of course, this is zero spin-off. Why? Because we've allocated no funds to retirement. But it, in fact, took their minimum payments and paid their debt off in less than half the time without one penny more. So it absolutely works, folks. I think when you play around with this software and you work at it, it's very, very simple. You've got to go in here, just start right at the beginning, the quick start, one by one, put in your profile, set up your revolving debts and accounts, your mortgages, enter that information in. It's very simple to do, and then click Select Program. And then we're basically working off the basic program. I think if you use the savings tool account for people that have some money in savings, you'll find there's an additional video there that's very helpful to them. But I guess here's the point. At times I get a question, or I've been getting questions on, will this program work? How do I show them their debts? And in my opinion, you should be able to show them a demo, because here's what people don't have right now. They don't have a roadmap. They know where they want to get to. They know they want to get to no more debt as quickly as possible. We all get that. What they don't have is a step-by-step roadmap to show them how. Is that worth $349? I mean, would you build a house without a blueprint? Would you follow me? Would you do landscape design without some type of print? Well, the answer is no, okay? So here's the same thing here. The concept of paying off your debt by just throwing more money at it is not the answer. The answer is the roadmap. So I wanted to show you this for a couple of reasons. One, if I work off minimum payments with no discretionary income, does this reduce my debt? Yes, it does, and more than half the time, okay? Two, do I need to put someone's debts into a program to see if it works for them? This is a clear example, what you're looking at right now, that it absolutely does work and will work for everyone based on the information that's inputted, okay? And there's a number of debts here. Number three, can we still create a tax-free retirement, and would it be more beneficial to not be paid off in 15 and a half years and just allocate 20% as funds do get freed up? Does that make more sense? Well, in this scenario, they pay their debt an extra year and a half, but they've got $212,000 in cash at the end of their debt. So they paid off the debt in 15.7 years, but they also have $212,000. So is the trade-off of a year and a half worth over $200,000? Well, the clear answer is yes, because they're paying $72,000 or $4,000 more for 18 months, but they have $212,000 in a pile by saying, I'll just take 20% as the money gets freed up and add it or put it into a tax-free savings. So I think it's pretty clear that it works. And what we need to do is the sales process. When we're showing this to people, we have to show them the value of a demo. Of course their numbers are going to work. Whether they have 4 debts or 8 debts or 20 debts, if they're just making minimum payments, will this software work for them? Absolutely. This is a clear picture of that. What I encourage you to do is get in here, put your numbers in, play around with this here, go from 10 to 50 to 60%, and just play around with the numbers so you get a feel for how this works. And I think you're going to find that there's going to be a substantial difference in the way you're approaching this program, because, folks, the bottom line is people have a problem in this country. Right? There's over $11 trillion of debt out there, and they have no idea how they're going to pay it off. They think they know, but they don't know. And the reason why I say that is because they don't have a map. They don't have it GPSed out. So hopefully this helps you maybe answer some of the questions regarding can this program work on the basis of someone paying no additional money at all. Clearly, the goal would be for them to pay some additional money. So I think you can use this in 2 ways: with existing clients that already have a tax-free plan with us, or as a means to show people how to do this. $349 is a very inexpensive solution with a detailed map for them to be out of debt, and we know it's going to save them half the time. So if they think their debt is going to last them 20 years, well, it's going to last them 10 years, and $349 will show them a step-by-step plan that they're not getting just by paying extra on the debt. The credit card companies, the student loans, are not giving them this GPS map to follow when to pay it, how much to pay, what the balance would be, when it's paid off, what to do with it next. You save this $123, where does it go? There's no plan out there that shows them how to do this. Our plan does. So hopefully this helped, and if you have any other questions, I think you all know how to reach me. Thanks.